Interim government wants to organize a free, fair and neutral election after completing judicial division, says Chief Advisor Dr. Mohammad Yunus. All educational institutions, including public and private universities, return to classes today. Campus takes vibrant look. Finance Advisor Dr. Saleh Ahmed instructs to take immediate actions to stop market syndicates in preventing price hikes. New curriculum not suitable for all sectors. Government may consider returning to previous, says Education Advisor Dr. Wahiuddin Mahmood. Government considering to form an independent mass media commission so that media can work without pressure, says Information Broadcasting Advisor Nahid Islam. Sports Institute to be established to improve athletes' performance and create alternative sources of income, says Youth and Sports Advisor Asif Mahmoud Shojib Bhuiya. Israeli bombardment killed 25 Palestinians, including 8 members of same family in Gaza. And South Africa beat West Indies by 40 runs in second test to wrap up 2-match test series in Providence. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Tasma Tazim, welcoming you to News at 10. You've just heard the headlines, now moving on to the details. Chief Advisor to the interim government, Dr. Mohammad Yunus, has conveyed to the international partners that they will hold a free, fair, participatory election as soon as they can complete their mandate to carry out vital reforms. He put emphasis on required reforms in the Election Commission, judiciary, civil administration, security forces and media. The Chief Advisor, Dr. Mohammad Yunus, said this while addressing foreign diplomats during a meet and greet session at a hotel in Dhaka today. He said a new era has begun as the students impressed upon them their dream of a country where people, regardless of their political, religious and ethnic identity, will be able to fulfill their aspirations and enjoy full freedom of expression, with the government upholding democracy, justice, human rights and freedom of speech. He added that the top priority of the interim government would be able to bring the law and order situation under control. The task is huge but doable with the support of all people and the international community, he said. The Chief Advisor said the interim government will nurture friendly relations with all countries in the spirit of mutual respect and understanding and shared interest.
Top priority of interim government would be to bring law and order situation under control. As you saw a little while back, it was delayed because I was unwilling to bring police to let them go. I said, let's talk. Let's be peaceful. That's what took time. We will be close to normalcy within a short period, I hope, with the unwavering support of our people and patriotic armed force. The police force has also resumed their operations. The armed forces will continue to serve in aid of civil power as long as the situation warrants. The government remains pledge bound to ensure safety and security of all religious and ethnic groups. We have also made it a priority to ensure justice and accountability for all killings and the violence committed during the recent mass uprising. I have spoken to the UN Human Rights Chief, Volker Turk. I welcome the UN Rights Office's move to send a UN-led fact-finding mission. We want an impartial and internationally credible investigation into the massacre and the subsequent due judicial process. We will hold a free and fair participatory election as soon as we can complete our mandate to carry out the vital reforms in our election commission, judiciary, civil administration, security forces, and media. We will also make sincere efforts to promote national reconciliation. I am encouraged by the words, the support by our international friends and partners. I have been receiving many letters from heads of states, heads of governments. We believe all our friends here and partners in the international community will stand by our government and the people as we chart a new democratic future.
Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam briefed the reporters after the meet and greet session. Director General of the Public Diplomacy of Ministry of Foreign Affairs Seheli Sabrin and Chief Advisor's Deputy Press Secretary Apurva Jahangir were also present. United Nations Development Programme UNDP Administrator Akim Steiner has congratulated Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus on his appointment as the Chief Advisor to the interim government. In a congratulatory letter, Steiner reaffirmed the UNDP's steadfast commitment to support the emerging national priorities of the interim government. Akim Steiner wished Dr. Mohammad Yunus and the Advisory Council every success as the Chief Advisor guides his nation through a peaceful, just and democratic transition towards a more inclusive and prosperous future for all people of Bangladesh. Newly appointed 4 judges of the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Said Rifat Ahmed, called on President Mohammad Shahabuddin at Bangabhavan this noon. New judges of the Appellate Division were Justice Zubair Rahman Chaudhry, Justice Syed Mohammad Ziaul Karim, Justice Mohammad Rezaul Haq and Justice S.M. Imdadul Haq. Later, at a briefing, President's Press Secretary Mohammad Jainul Abidin said that during the meeting, Chief Justice apprised the President of overall activities of the Supreme Court. Congratulating the new Chief Justice and judges of the Appellate Division, President Mohammad Shahabuddin expressed hope that the Supreme Court, led by the Chief Justice, would take necessary steps so that the people would get justice quickly. The President also hoped that the Supreme Court would take steps to reduce pending cases. During the meeting, President's Office Secretary Nasimul Goni and Military Secretary Major General Mohammad Adil Chaudhry were present. All educational institutions, including public and private universities, reopened today after a month of closure following deadly violence. The students returned to classes today. Secondary and Higher Education Department on Thursday instructed the University Grants Commission, the Vice Chancellors of public and private universities, the Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education, the Directorate of Madrasa Education, and the Directorate of Technical Education to take the necessary measures for the reopening of educational institutions. Earlier on Tuesday, the Minister of Vice Chancellors of public and private universities, the Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education, the Directorate of Madrasa Education, and the Directorate of Technical Education to take the necessary measures for the reopening of educational institutions. Earlier on Tuesday, the Minister of Primary and Mass Education ordered the resumption of primary school classes after a month of closure. The pupils and parents expected the educational institutions to focus on making up for the lost sessions along with the resumption of regular activities. Meanwhile, the postponed higher secondary certificate HSC and equivalent examinations will be resumed from September 11th. According to the revised routine, the exams will be completed on October 23rd. Education Advisor Dr. Wahiuddin Mahmood said the new curriculum is not useful for all sectors, so there is a plan to go back to the previous curriculum without jeopardizing students. He said this while briefing journalists on the first working day at the Secretariat today. Wahiuddin Mahmood said the education sector is going through a bad situation as corruption and politicization gripped every nook and corner. The Education Advisor wants to free campuses from the politics of establishing supremacy.
পাঠ্যক্রম তো উন্নত করতেই হবে, সময় বদলাচ্ছে, কিন্তু যেটা তৈরি করা হয়েছে এটা বাস্তবায়ন করা খুবই কঠিন বর্তমান পর্যায়ে আমাদের যে শিক্ষক আছে তা দিয়ে, এবং এটা যে আমাদের দেশের জন্য সর্বক্ষেত্রে উপযোগী তাও আমরা মনে করছি না, কারণ এটা তো আসলে বাস্তবায়ন খুব ভালো হচ্ছেও না, বিশেষ করে পরীক্ষা মূল্যায়ন পদ্ধতিতে। কিন্তু তাই আমরা করি না কেন, হয়তো অন্তত এই সাময়িক সময় আমরা আগের যে শিক্ষাক্রম সেখানে ফিরে যাওয়ার চেষ্টা করব, কিন্তু এমনভাবে করব যারা ইতিমধ্যে ঢুকে গেছে, যেমন নবম শ্রেণীতে, তাদের যাতে কোনোভাবেই ছাত্রদের যাতে কোনোভাবেই একটা বিপাকে না পড়ে।
Interim government's road transport and bridges advisor Mohammad Fawzul Kabir Khan said that Dhaka Metro Rail services will resume within the next 7 days. He came up with the announcement during an introductory meeting with officials at his ministry today. The advisor emphasized that there would be a renewed focus on development projects, ensuring that progress is not limited to Dhaka alone, but also extends to neglected areas. Regarding the procurement process, the advisor indicated that single-source procurement, which had been prevalent, will be discontinued. Instead, there will be a move towards competitive tendering to prevent favoritism and ensure transparency.
বিভাগের বিভিন্ন প্রতিষ্ঠানে আগুন ভাঙচুর হয়েছে, সেগুলো আমরা দ্রুততম সময়ে যে এগুলো যাতে হয় এবং সার্ভিস রেস্টোর করা হয়, সেটা বিআরটিসির মধ্যে সার্ভিস রেস্টোর করা হয়ে গেছে এবং অন্যান্যরা যারা যেটা সেবা সেটা আমরা রেজিস্টার করার জন্য করছি। ব্যয় সংকোচন করতে হবে, আমি এটা ব্যয় সংকোচন পরিকল্পনা চাইছি। যেহেতু সরকার পরিবর্তন হয়েছে, মেট্রো রেলের বোর্ডে কিছু প্রতিনিধি ছিল, সেগুলো পরিবর্তন করা দরকার ছিল, তো সেটা আমরা করে দিয়েছি। তা আমরা সর্বোচ্চ 7 দিনের মধ্যে মেট্রো রেল চালু করার।
Advisor to the Minister of Finance and Commerce, Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed, instructed officials concerned to take immediate action to stop market syndicate. The advisor made the instruction while talking to reporters after a meeting with Commerce Ministry officials in the city today. Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed also informed that he has already Advisor to the Minister of Finance and Commerce, Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed, instructed officials concerned to take immediate action to stop market syndicate. The advisor made the instruction while talking to reporters after a meeting with Commerce Ministry officials in the city today. Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed also informed that he has already instructed the officials concerned to take action against extortion so that the business community can run trade and business smoothly.
দেশে ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যে যদি সহায়ক পরিবেশ থাকে এবং এখানে যদি কোনো রকম দুর্নীতি বা কিছু না হয় এবং মূল্যস্ফীতির ব্যাপারে আপনারা অনেক কিছু জানেন, বাণিজ্য এবং দোকানের একটা রোল আছে, অর্থাৎ এইগুলি যেন দূরীভূত হয় এবং সাধারণ মানুষের সমস্যাগুলো শুধু খাদ্যদ্রব্য না, অন্য অন্য জিনিসগুলো যেটা বাণিজ্যের সাথে রিলেটেড, এগুলো আমরা চেষ্টা করে যত শীঘ্র সম্ভব এগুলো সমাধান করি। ভোক্তাদের উপরে সাধারণ মানুষের উপরে বাড়তি চাপ না পড়ে, এখন যে চাপটা সেটাও যাতে কমিয়ে আনা যায় আমরা চেষ্টা করি।
Information and Broadcasting Advisor Muhammad Nahid Islam said the formation of an independent mass media commission is under consideration so that the mass media can work without any pressure. He said this at a view exchange meeting with the chiefs of officers affiliated to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry at the Secretariat today. The information advisor said the interim government will work to build Bangladesh based on merits and freed from discrimination and corruption. He sought cooperation from the mass media for information regarding those killed and injured during the movement of students and mass people.
আমাদের এই আন্দোলনে ছাত্র জনতা শ্রমিকদের পাশাপাশি কিন্তু প্রচুর সাংবাদিক শহীদ হয়েছেন, আহত হয়েছেন। দ্রুত সময়ের মধ্যে এই সাংবাদিক যারা এখন আহত অবস্থায় আছেন এবং যারা শহীদ হয়েছেন তাদের পাশে এবং তাদের পরিবারের পাশে আমাদের দাঁড়ানো উচিত। গণমাধ্যম যাতে তার যে স্বাধীনতা, সেই স্বাধীনতা নিয়ে কাজ করতে পারে এবং জনগণের পক্ষে সবসময় কথা বলতে পারে। সকল প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলোকে আধুনিকায়ন করা উচিত।
Youth and Sports Advisor Asif Mahmood Shajib Bhuiya has announced the establishment of the country's first sports institute under his ministry. He made the announcement today at a press conference at Bangladesh Secretariat. Through establishing this sports institute, the advisor aims to improve athletes' performance and create alternative sources of income. He said an analysis is being conducted on how the Bangladesh Cricket Board BCB can be changed based on legality. A solution is still being searched. About holding the upcoming Women's T20 World Cup cricket in Bangladesh, Asif Mahmood Shajib Bhuiya said a discussion is ongoing with the ICC on this matter. A decision will be taken after consultation with all. The Youth and Sports Advisor also said investigations will be conducted into corruption and irregularities into the sport arena and action will be taken against the persons involved.
জাতীয় ও আন্তর্জাতিক পরিমণ্ডলে বাংলাদেশের ক্রীড়াবিদের হাই পারফরম্যান্স, ক্রীড়ার সাথে ক্রীড়ার সামগ্রিক সফলতা অর্জন, ক্রীড়াবিদদের শারীরিক মানসিক সক্ষমতা বৃদ্ধি, ক্রীড়া কৌশল ও নেতৃত্ব গুণের উন্নয়ন তথা সামগ্রিক উন্নয়নের মাধ্যমে জাতীয় গৌরব অর্জনের লক্ষ্যে যুব ক্রীড়া মন্ত্রণালয়ের উদ্যোগে সেন্টার অফ এক্সিলেন্স স্লোগানে বাংলাদেশে প্রথমবারের মতো নির্মিত হতে যাচ্ছে বাংলাদেশ স্পোর্টস ইনস্টিটিউট। বাংলাদেশের ক্রীড়াক্ষেত্রে আন্তর্জাতিক মানসম্পন্ন দক্ষ ক্রীড়াবিদ তৈরি এবং আন্তর্জাতিক পর্যায়ে উচ্চ ফলাফল অর্জনের ক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশ স্পোর্টস ইনস্টিটিউট জাতীয় ও আন্তর্জাতিক পর্যায়ের খ্যাতনামা স্পোর্টস প্রতিষ্ঠানের সাথে কার্যকর কোলাবোরেশনের মাধ্যমে বিশেষায়িত স্পোর্টস সেবা ও অবকাঠামোগত সুযোগ সুবিধা প্রদান করবে।
The government has issued an alert about the viral infectious disease monkeypox as the World Health Organization WHO has declared it a public health emergency after the disease spread in some African countries. Amid declaration of a public health emergency by the WHO, the health directorate said that they have taken precautionary measures in the country to prevent the disease. The authority concerned said that they have asked the ports, including the international airports, to remain alert about as the World Health Organization WHO has declared it a public health emergency after the disease spread in some African countries. Amid declaration of a public health emergency by the WHO, the health directorate said that they have taken precautionary measures in the country to prevent the disease. The authority concerned said that they have asked the ports, including the international airports, to remain alert about the disease. The health directorate said they have already started a campaign with cautionary messages on social media and mass media to make people aware of the disease. At the same time, they have asked the airport authorities and airlines crews to remain alert and send the suspected patients to hospitals immediately. The disease has spread in some countries and any passenger coming from abroad may carry the virus, so they have to remain alert. The DGHS officials said they have set up special units in Kurmitola General Hospital and Infectious Disease Hospital for the Mpox patients. No Mpox patients has been detected in the country yet. If any suspected patient is found, they will have to be sent to these two hospitals for observation. Moving on to international news. There has been more bombardment on the Gaza Strip by Israeli forces over the past few hours, killing at least 25 Palestinians, including 8 members of the same family in Gaza. Talks to secure a ceasefire in Gaza are set to resume in the Egyptian capital Cairo after 2 days of negotiations between an Israeli delegation and mediators in the Qatari capital Doha earlier this week. Hamas official Osama Hamdan told the media that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remains the main obstacle to a ceasefire and captive exchange deal as Israeli negotiators express optimism after 2 days of truce talks in Qatar. More than 40,000 Palestinians have been killed and 92,537 wounded in Israel's attack on Gaza since October 7, 2023. A volcano has erupted following a 7.2 magnitude earthquake that struck off Russia's east coast, spurting a column of ash miles into the air. According to state-run media, the Shivak volcano is around 280 miles from Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, a coastal city with population of about 180,000 that lies in Russia's eastern region of Kamchatka. There are no reports of people injured, TASS said. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake's epicenter was about 55 miles from Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky and had a depth of about 30 miles. No major damage was caused by the quake, TASS reported. However, buildings are now being examined for potential damage with special attention paid to social facilities. A total of 626 people, including politicians, took refuge in different cantonments across the country to protect their lives following the ouster of Sheikh Hasina on 5th of August. As the situation improved, 615 individuals voluntarily left the cantonments, while 4 were handed over to law enforcement agencies due to complaints or cases against them. 7 are still staying in the cantonments, according to the Inter-Services Public Relations ISPR Directorate. In a press release, the ISPR said the law and order situation deteriorated significantly on 5th of August due to change in the political landscape. Some political figures sought refuge in cantonments in fear of their lives. A total of 626 people were granted shelter at various cantonments in order to prevent extrajudicial activities, protect their lives, and uphold the rule of law. Among those sheltered were 24 protect their lives and uphold the rule of law. Among those sheltered were 24 political figures, 5 judges, 19 civil administration officials, 28 police officers, 487 members of the police force, 12 individuals from different sectors, including public university officials, and 51 family members. Of them, 7 individuals, including family members, are still staying in the cantonments. The army has provided all information in this regard to the ministry concerned, it added. Regarding the activities of army men, the ISPR noted that the Bangladesh Army is working impartially and professionally to prevent extrajudicial activities and uphold the rule of law, while also contributing to the restoration of law and order in the country. It urged all to remain patient and cooperative as well as avoid rumors. The army will always be there beside people maintaining the prevailing laws. Moving on to news and weather. Deep convection is taking place over North Bay due to a low pressure area has been formed over Northwest Bay and adjoining Gangetic West Bengal Bangladesh coast. Met Office said under its influence, gusty or squally weather may affect the maritime ports, North Bay and adjoining coastal areas of Bangladesh. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Para have been advised to keep hoisted local cautionary signal number 3. I repeat, local cautionary signal number 3. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. Meanwhile, Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty or squally wind is likely to occur at most places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Khulna, Borishal, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions, and at many places over Mymensingh division with moderately to heavy falls at places over the country. Night and day temperature may fall slightly over the country, said the Met Office. And at many places over Mymensingh division with moderately to heavy falls at places over the country. Night and day temperature may fall slightly over the country, said the Met Office. Moving on to some news on sports. Africa defeated West Indies by 40 runs on the third day of the second and final test of the two-match series in Providence, Guyana. As a result, the Proteas won the series by 1-0. The first test of the series was drawn. Chasing the victory target of 263, West Indies were all out for 222 runs in the second innings. Kagiso, Rabada and Keshav Maharaj took 3 wickets each for South Africa. Earlier, South Africa were all out for 246 runs in the second innings. West Indies scored 144 runs in reply to South Africa's first innings of 160 runs. Wian Mulder was adjudged man of the match for taking 6 wickets in 2 innings. Keshav Maharaj was also adjudged man of the series for his 13 wickets in 2 tests. Al-Hilal beat Cristiano Ronaldo's Al-Nassr by 4-1 goals to win the Saudi Super Cup for the second consecutive times. This is their record 5th title in the Super Cup, while they won the 70th title in all competitions. In the final match held at Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz Stadium, Al-Nassr took the lead in the 44th minute through Cristiano Ronaldo. However, Al-Nassr digested 4 goals in 55 to 72 minutes. On behalf of Al-Hilal, Alexander Mitrovic scored twice. Serge Milankovic, Sabic and Malcolm scored 1 goal each. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Interim government wants to organize a free, fair and neutral election after completing major reforms on Election Commission and Judicial Division, says Chief Advisor Dr. Mohammad Yunus. All educational institutions, including public and private universities, return to classes today. Campus takes vibrant look. Finance Advisor Dr. Saleuddin Ahmed instructs to take immediate actions to stop market syndicates in preventing price hikes.